YouTube, and welcome to another episode of My Underwear Just Went Up My Ass. And today we have a beer that I've really been wanting to try for quite some time. This was given to me by my good buddy, the Cantankerous cook, who has done many a review on here. This is from the Labatt Prohibition series. This is brewed by Labatt USA, which is in Rochester, New York. So you're looking at brewing out of the Genesee building. This is the Labatt Prohibition Series Apple Harvest Ale, and it is 6% alcohol by volume. An Apple Harvest Ale. So I'm kind of expecting this to be something kind of like Red's Apple Ale, because, yeah, might as well expect that, eh? And the cap is a 4 of clubs. These caps are all like, wow, are all poker-like tops. Okay. Wow. Bright white head. Bright yellow beer. Other than the head, it looks like your average macro beer. The head is bright white like a lot of macro beers, but there's a lot of it. It actually had a good consistency. It does have a good snap, crackle, pop going to it. It will fade away. But it's staying longer than I expected. And it's actually visually, for an apple beer, it's kind of appealing. I mean, what apple beers have I had? I've had Reds, I've had Nickelbrook's Green Apple Pilsner, I've had a couple others as well, Efmir Pum. There are a lot of them, well, not a lot, there are a handful of them out there. And this looks the part. I mean, I can't say visually it's unappealing. It is an appealing looking beer by a little bit, especially when you're figuring it's a fruit beer. Wow. The green apple pops. This stuff pops. Super sweet yet tart at the same time. Green apple, both the skin and the flesh of the apple. Very, very apple forward. Very apple forward. Oh, maybe some Macintosh in there as well. Oh yeah, some Macintosh. It's a little sweeter too. And a touch of Honeycrisp, I think. So let's say Granny Smith Honeycrisp apple. Granny Smith Honeycrisp Macintosh is what I'm smelling, and that's all I'm smelling is the apples. Does it smell natural? Not really. There is some natural points to it, like the skin. The skin smells natural, but the fleshiness, the sweetness, it smells very unnatural. Let's try the beer. Cheers, guys. Cheers. How can you do that? How can you make a beer that actually smells good and smells like it could compete with craft breweries' apple beers, and then come out like, well, I know how you can do it, but how would you let yourself do it? I remember when this beer was first brought into the Cantankerous cook's house. The Honey Monster and a few other people had said it's like weaponized beer. Labatt has learned how to weaponize Aquavelva and stuff like that. No, for me it isn't that bad whatsoever. I can't, even if I want to make fun of it to that extent. I actually had things running through my mind that I could say if this beer was as bad as they made it out to be, but it's not that bad. And it's hard to say that because it's not that good either. Yeah, just it's kind of dead. It's kind of dead. It's kind of like a cracked canoe, or Molson 67, or Michelob Ultra. It's that kind of soda watery taste with a lot less carbonation than those ones have, because it is a very soft mouthfeel. But it's kind of that soda water taste, and instead of really getting an apple flavor, like a sweet apple or anything like that, you're basically just tasting the skin. You get a little bit of that apple flavor, but it's kind of dulled and bitter isn't really even the right word. You're getting like a tannin from the apple skin, so a slight bitterness, but bitter again isn't really the right word for it. And as I said, you could smell like Honey Crisp and Granny Smith when you were sniffing it, but drinking it, it's basically just the skin of a Macintosh and nothing else. Maybe that very fine layer of flesh right under the skin if you're cutting it. The other one, the Bourbon Barrel Ale beer, was actually a lot better than this one. Again, this isn't a beer that's horrible, but I just don't want to drink it ever again. I really don't. In all honesty, I would probably give this one a 4.5 out of 10. There is a lot of stuff out there that is worse than it. There really is. But in the world of beers, I mean, I've had 2,500 plus beers myself so far. There are literally tens upon tens of thousands of beers to choose from. There's a lot better out there than this. If this is what you like, that's great. This is what you like, keep buying it. I'm not trying to talk you out of buying it. If you still want to try it, by all means, go out and try it. In my opinion, though, it is under. There are. If we were going to do this as a bell curve, there are more than 50% of the beers I've tried that are better than this. If we were going to say that of the 2,507 beers that I've checked in onto Untapped, half of them were good and half of them were bad. If they were a perfect 50-50 split, there's over 1,254 beers out there that I think are much better than this. Out of just what I've had. But then there would still be like 1,200 beers that I think are worse than this. So take it for what you want. Yeah, 4.5 out of 10 sits pretty right. Not really tasty. It kind of tastes like a low carb beer with a little bit of apple skin to it, but it is 6%. So if that's what you want, this stuff doesn't taste bad and could get you drunk. And seeing as it's Labatt in the U.S. in brewed at Genesee, it's probably not that bad of a price. What was the last package they put out? A 2-4 was like $13. I don't know if this one is the same price or not, but I mean, if we're in that range, you're not looking at that bad of a price if you're going out to buy it. No, it was $15. But still, for Ontarians who pay $39, it's not that bad of a price. So if you want to try it, try it. If you don't want to try it, don't try it. I don't like it. I don't want to ever drink it again. I just don't hate it. I wish I could hate it. I really was hoping. I was hoping that this could be the one beer in 2014 that I could really rail on. That I could just wail on it, because I haven't had a beer this year that I've wailed on. And I was hoping for it, but I didn't get it. Thank you, Paul. Thank you guys for watching. Labatt's Apple Harvest Ale. Cheers.